What's under that bowl, Bart?
Nothing.
Lift up the bowl, boy. That one.
That one.
Hey, look over there.
What?
Oh, nothing.
Middle one, middle one. Huh?
Oh, well. I guess he's innocent.
Berean Scholar. Berean Scholar. Berean Scholar. Waking up the people of the Most High. I got the knowledge to destroy the lies. DNA history, open eyes. Walk into the darkness and turn on the lights. Wake up, 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 wake up.
And I want to remind you what Edmund Spencer said. We bring this up every once in a while. There is a principle which is a bar against all information. It's a proof against all argument, which cannot fail to keep man in everlasting ignorance.
Which cannot fail to keep man in everlasting ignorance.
That principle is condemnation before investigation. What I'm going to ask you to do as we go into this session tonight is to set aside whatever you may have been taught or whatever you believe and try to look at it with fresh eyes and try to hear what the text is saying. And my goal is not to sell you a particular view. My goal is to equip you to do your own homework, to do your own digging and come to your own conclusions. So the same concept is in Proverbs 18:13. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it is a folly and a shame unto him.
Before we get going with today's conversation, I want you to think about something. This has to be your own opinion. This has to be based on your reality, on your truth. Take a moment and think about the greatest lie ever told. Take some time to think about it. In your head, what's coming through? In your opinion, this is your view. No one else is responsible for this thought but yourself. In your opinion, what is the greatest lie ever told to human beings? Think about it. Write it on the comments. Like the video. Share if you gain value from it.
To say that evangelicals are like, I stand with Israel unequivocally. It's like, guys, they're sinful people.
Well, what comes on the end of that typically is this next statement, which is because they're God's people.
Yes. And you hear things like that, and it just goes to show precisely what you landed on. Unequivocal support because they are God's chosen people.
It's a theological commitment.
That's right.
Exactly right.
And so we need to ask the question. And so let's go to the Bible itself to ask the question, does the Bible give to us this idea that the modern evangelical has today in the West about the state of Israel today, the people in the land of Israel today? Does it give us the idea that we have been raised with in evangelicalism? And I want to say, no.
What do you mean, no?
No.
No. No.
Didn't see that coming.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my, you pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator and now you're throwing out theology and I am a Christian and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And
what does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
The state of Israel today, the people in the land of Israel today, doesn't give us the idea that we have been raised with in evangelicalism. And I want to say, no. No. And so
I'm trying to connect this to a broader point that, oh, this is why we're losing, because we've got to debunk lies more quickly. No, that's not why you're losing. You're losing because you're up against the truth, okay? The problem that Zionists are having, the broader issue that you guys are having, is that you are defending evil. You are behaving like psychopaths, and it's caught up. Like, you're going around demanding people lose their jobs. You are pretending that people are not starving in Gaza. You are outright mocking at points, Zionists like Randy Fine in Congress, images of children that are starving, saying that they deserve that. And you can only behave like a sadistic, psychopathic, murderous individual for so long before the world takes notice. I think, again, this is just the way I'm reading the situation, but I think the world has taken notice that there's something fundamentally wrong with Zionism because it requires so many lies, so much hideous reinterpretation. The media that you guys you've had the support of the Western media, certainly in America. It's like a Zionist enterprise, writing all of these articles, ignoring the deaths, ignoring what's happening in Gaza, until this very point where it's gotten so bad they can't ignore it anymore. And you go, I don't understand why people don't like Israel. I don't understand why people are hating Israel. This is why. You guys have gone full mask down for the last 2 years. And it takes a special kind of sadistic, murderous mind to continually defend this and go, but what about October 7th? You're behaving like psychopaths, truly like psychopaths. You're just not aware of yourself. And it's just not normal. These headlines are just not normal. And we can go over some of these right now. I mean, you now have the patriarchs and the heads of the churches in Jerusalem who are issuing statements about what's happening. The settlers, the absolute gremlins and goblins who go in and are taking over territory. Nope, not paying for it, not by just taking over people's territory, burning their crops, killing their animals, killing their livestock to make it so that it's unlivable. And just going, we're gonna take it, it's ours. Gremlins, goblins, literally, that's what you are. You see these people, they are just the most despicable, debased individuals you could ever imagine. And to do this under the context of Holy Land, like we are chosen by whom? Satan? That's the only thing that makes sense. You have to be chosen by Satan to be doing what you're doing. And then to look at us and go, we're the victims. We're the victim. Didn't you see what happened October 7th when, conveniently Netanyahu ignored everything that was happening at the border as if he knew it was going to happen? And yeah, conveniently we killed a lot of our own people, but then we just went to the press and said, oh my gosh, look what happened to us. It's just like the Holocaust. And then we just committed a Holocaust. Yeah. More headlines. Baby dies following a cesarean delivery after a mother is killed in an Israeli airstrike. Yes, it's about a newborn baby who died. They tried to rescue his baby via cesarean, and now that baby has died. And you guys look at us and you go, why aren't you supporting Israel? I would literally rather saw off my own foot than support Israel ever again, by the way. Never supporting that demonic nation ever again. That's I'm so off that train. It's crazy. I've learned way too much.
You didn't see that coming?
Now, much of this support has been attributed to a strong, wealthy, and very pro-Israeli lobby in America, which is true, but you'd think that the majority of the strength behind this lobby would be the Jewish community in the US, which is only partially correct, because as it turns out, in terms of sheer numbers, the evangelical Christians from America's Bible Belt make up the majority of this lobby's power base.
This may be the most important prophetic spot in the entire Bible, because the final act of the book of Revelation is going to begin right here at this place. The Bible teaches that Russia, Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, Turkey, and other nations will come down under a UN flag, and they will invade Israel at this particular point. Can you imagine? Thousands of tanks out here in this valley, rumbling, fighting, firing. Can you imagine jet airplanes screaming overhead? The battle is going to be fierce.
The horrific multinational fighting this preacher is describing is the Battle of Armageddon, which is supposed to happen right here, just as soon as Israel is a fully Jewish state. Which is why a bunch of Christians in Texas have become the most fervent Zionists on God's green earth.
While most Americans probably think that the pro-Israeli lobby is largely a Jewish thing, actually the most of its support comes from right here in the Bible Belt, where evangelical Christians overwhelmingly believe that Israel has a right to exist because God said so.
Go to the phone right now and call that number and say, yes, I'm going to stand with Israel. I'm going to bless the people of the Bible. I'm going to bless God's chosen people.
Will those of you in this audience who support the state of Israel stand to your feet and give a shout of support?
While a lot of Israel's financial support does come from Jewish wallets, there are close to 70 million evangelicals in America versus less than 14 million Jews worldwide. And given that roughly 80% of these Christians support Israel, that makes American Christians the largest pro-Israeli voting bloc in the world, about 4 times the size of the Jewish community on Earth. There's a lot of money behind the Christian Zionist movement. This church behind me, Cornerstone, is one of the biggest supporters of Israel, not just among Christians, but in the world. The pastor here, John Hagee, has raised an estimated $70 million over the course of his ministry. Pastor Hagee also founded Christians United for Israel, or CUFI, which is the largest pro-Israel lobbying organization in America. Even bigger than AIPAC, the organization most people assume dominates the American Israel lobby because it's the biggest Jewish one. What's dicey about CUFI is that a good deal of their money for Israel is spent on buildings and organizations in the Israeli settlements. These are massive Jewish communities built well within Palestinian territory, in violation of international law. The settlements are run by some of the most fanatical Zionists, who believe the Bible entitles them to their land, and that ceding any of it back to the Palestinians would be a violation of God's law.
God gave them that land. They own that land.
While there's nothing wrong with Christians supporting Israel, the way these Christians have chosen to do so puts them firmly on one side of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one that's directly opposed to the US government's official policy, and are using their massive political power and money to oppose the peace plan John Kerry is currently trying to push through. That's the two-state solution that would give the Palestinians the West Bank and Gaza Strip, and the Israelis would get the rest, hopefully ending all the violence.
Tell me the truth.
The true Jews of Israel are your black ancestors.
You think they mean us?
We close the pit and return
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israel, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time, all he said.
No, we don't have.
There are so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? That is the question I have for you.
Thank you. I'll answer that question.
Go ahead.
I will help you. After the demise of Solomon, we now have the northern and southern kingdom of Israel.
Yes.
So when we talk about Jews, Jews are Israelites, but all Israelites are not Jews. The 10 tribes that got lost are not Jews. They were Israelites.
Well, it's depending.
So minority cannot swallow the majority. We are here. We are the majority down here. So you are minority, and we are older than you. All right,
The senior pastor and founder, Dr. Kingsley Fletcher, is now the swappler of the Say traditional area in the Dami West district of Ghana, West Africa, where he holds the title Droller. The royal name is Royal Majesty. Droller Boso Adamti I. He is also the first chancellor of the University of Professional Studies in Ghana.
Drolo Boso Adamte I of the said traditional area, which has been known for many years as the Shai traditional area. But actually, it is the Se traditional area. I am a Dangbe, but I speak the Se language. You know, the name Se, which has been corrupted after the Inquisition or the enslavement of our people, they changed the name, and particularly around 1892, we had a serious conflict with the occupiers. That means those who enslaved our people. We resisted with all force because we knew that it wasn't right for our forefathers to be taken away into slavery, or the sons of the Se to be taken into slavery. So in our resistance, we use all means necessary to defend ourselves, which is interchangeable. We speak a common language, but we have specific expressions which differs one from the other. So when people meet us, usually they sum us together and they say that you are Adan or you are Krobo. No, they may not be Adan or Krobo necessarily. They are part of a Dangbe group. But when you say Dangbe, you have to identify which group you belong to. Whether I am a Se or Klo, or Adan, or Bugla, or Usue, or Ningo. You know, then we have others also like Boom and the rest. But once upon a time, we were all the same people. We were the same people. In fact, the people known today as the Ga and the Dangbes and the Evers, who were the same people. We all migrated from Israel, as the history goes. We all migrated from Israel, as the history goes. We all migrated from Israel, as the history goes.
What?
We all migrated from Israel, as the history goes. Came through the Nile, through Niger, through Benin, through Dahomey, before ending in Ghana. So historically, when you ask our cultures and you ask our history, we make reference to where we came from. We were one people, but during early times, there were misunderstandings and we broke up in different groups, but we are the same people.
A prominent Ashkenazi Jewish rabbi by the name of Dr. Henry Abramson explains how the founding family of the Ashkenazi community were actually converts.
And then you have the founder event. Sometime around the year 800, a small group of Jews left northern Italy. We even know the names of some of them, the Colonimus family, for example. They left their homes in northern Italy and they made their way up to the Rhineland in contemporary Germany. Those people form the nucleus of Ashkenazi Jewry.
So he mentions the Colonimus family as the nucleus or founding family of the Ashkenazi Jewish community. Here in the Jewish Virtual Library, it mentions the name of the first Colonimus member to convert to Judaism. They told on themselves. Obadiah 11a, Onkelos bar Colonimus converted to Judaism.
It's Shane Enzi out here in the middle of Farmville, Virginia, on a little history expedition here. And I'm at the first, let me tell you, just in case you want to come and check it out for yourself, I'm in Farmville, Virginia, and this is the intersection of 3rd Street. If I go to the left, I'll be at Industrial Park Road. If I go to the right, I can go up Lane Street. And at this intersection right here, we have this sign. Let me show you this sign here. I think it's pretty interesting. This is mile marker I-14A. And it says, Free Blacks of Israel Hill. Just to the west lies Israel Hill, settled in 1810 to 1811 by approximately 90 former enslaved persons who received freedom and 350 acres from Judith Randolph under the will of her husband, Richard Randolph, cousin of Thomas Jefferson. These Israelites and other free African Americans worked as farmers, craftspeople, and Appomattox River boatmen. Some labored alongside whites for equal wages and defended their rights in court. The family early settler Hercules White bought and sold real estate in Farmville and joined with white citizens to found the town's first Baptist church in 1836. Israel Hill remained a vigorous black community into the 20th century. See, it says these Israelites, and other free African Americans, right here. And if you walk on the opposite side of it, it says the same thing on the back side here. See, it's pointed out to you. It says these Israelites and other free African Americans. Quite interesting there. So, black people who know they were Israelites established a community here in Farmville, Virginia. Again, the intersection is 3rd Street. I believe it's South 3rd Street. The intersection where Industrial Park Road goes to the left, Lane Street comes to the right. And if you turn around right at the corner here, you see this. Free Blacks of Israel Hill. So Israel in Farmville, Virginia. Israelites in Farmville, Virginia. History. Today is what? August 23rd, 2020. Sunday, August 23rd, 2020. We're finding out. Israelites were here. Peace.
Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper, and to this very important and very special video that I'm doing covering who the true biblical Hebrews are. First off, I want to say, as if the warning at the beginning of the video wasn't enough, I want to make sure and reiterate this, that I'm not a racist person, nor am I a person that hates certain individuals. I love all of humanity. I want to see all of humanity making a new kingdom. But nevertheless, there is true Hebrews. There is a true people of the Most High that is scattered throughout the nations of the earth this day. It is not whom that many people believe they are, such as the so-called Jews in the nation-state of Israel that we so see before us right now. I would interject that the true biblical Hebrews are the so-called African-American people that are scattered abroad throughout the world. Now, I will show you through a mass amount of evidence that I'll put up on the screen right here, verses below, and you can do your due diligence and research these things out to see if they be so. It is very important that you understand who the true Hebrews are, because that end-time prophecy, lots of it, surround these individuals. I am a Gentile. I know exactly who I am, but it seems to be the one group of people in the world that have been, by the rest of the world, tried to be dumbed down to the fact or completely erase their history from history, is the African American people, so-called, that are scattered throughout the nations. Now, please understand that not every single black person is a true Hebrew, but it is those that are under the curse of Deuteronomy 28. And you'll be able to tell by the time that I'm done giving you this information in this video who the true Hebrews are, and you may be one of them. So let's begin. In the early pictures that you would see depicted in worship places, churches, and things of this nature, as you can see right here in this image right here, and others that I'll continue to put up, that Messiah was depicted as a black person, an African American person. And this is totally different to what we see as Roman Catholicism was further introduced and spread abroad throughout the world. We always see a white Caucasian Messiah being depicted. And I want to reiterate throughout this that I'm not being racist. I love every single person in humanity. It's very important we know who the true Hebrews are. And anyway, as time progressed, though, these paintings and the depictions went from the black African American features to a more Caucasian white feature. And this wasn't done overnight. This was a slow sifting process as to what we have today. Now in every church house and on their walls we see a white Messiah. And this could not be further from the truth. I encourage you to research Google because there's so many remaining artifacts of this from centuries before. As we move forward, there is, after Noah come off the ark and the sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Ham is a guidepost that we can use to help us find the true Hebrews, because the sons of Ham, the true Hebrew Israelites, always blended with the sons of Ham. And I'll give you many examples of this. As we read in Genesis 10, it gives the genealogy, and so we can see the beginning of the division of people. But the Egyptians come from their father Ham. In Palestine, if you look at some of the people that are descendants from long ago, they're black. Although we have other people of ethnic background moved into Palestine today, the people that intermingled with the true Hebrews, the Palestinians, many of them are black. And that is from generations back. Not only this, but the scripture states that in Amos 9 and 7 that the Hebrews are like the Ethiopian to him. If we look in Ethiopia, I find that most people have no problem understanding that the people there are of black African nature. Now, the sons of Ham, though, as we find in the scripture, we can see that Joseph blended with the sons of Ham, because whenever his other brothers came to receive goods and merchandise to take back to help their family, they did not know that it was him. Now this could have not went down if he was of another ethnic background, whatever color that may be, to blend with the black African American Egyptian at that time. I'm sorry, they're not American at all, but the black African Egyptian. Okay, so Moses, and make sure to read the scripture as well, Moses blended with the sons of Ham, the Egyptians, because he passed as their own people. We can find this recorded in Scripture. In Acts chapter 21, we find Shaul, Paul, passed as a Egyptian, and was asked this because he spoke Greek. If a man spoke Greek and he was Caucasian color as me, the Roman soldier may have just thought, hey, he's a Greek. But he had to ask him because the ethnic color. Yahushua fled into Egypt. His mother and father took him into the land of Egypt whenever Herod sought his life. Therefore, these people were able to blend and look the same. This is so important to understand because not only is it found in Scripture, but even secular examples such as this right here, National Geographic, showed the black pharaohs of Egypt. See, before the Arab people came in and took over what is modern-day Egypt now as an ethnicity, the people that was there beforehand were of African black characteristic. This is so important to understand because when history is erased by the following generations, that is what is history. Unless you do your due diligence and go back and search these things out. Moving forward, in modern Egypt, we find that the Egyptian premier Nasser spoke to the Israeli people at that time whenever they were returning to their said nation, and it was supposed to be the true Israelites. He said, "You left black, you came back white, we cannot accept you." And you can see a quote put up here, right here, I'll put the quote up. Now that's not me, and once again I'm not trying to be racist, anti-Semitic, or whatever you would want to label it. This is other people's statements. This is historical fact evidence. Hitler. I cannot think of a more murderous, sadistic, evil human being than Hitler. Nevertheless, Hitler provides us some very interesting evidence that he knew as well who the true Hebrews was. In a film documentary that he showed to his generals that is documented in Time Life magazine, as you can check out for yourself, other evidences this where you can see the hard copy of the book being spoke of in the video. Now that doesn't mean that I endorse everything in those videos and other people's thoughts. I'm just showing you that this book does exist nevertheless. In Time Life magazine, it was labeled, I believe the book was labeled The Nazis from every time that I've ever seen it. I've only seen the book a couple times in my life so far, and I want to get a copy of it because it's so powerful. Nevertheless, Hitler shows to his generals who the true Hebrews are and who the posers are. And he describes to his generals that the white-faced kind of, people always say that I kind of look Jewish. That's actually a fair statement because my background is Germanic, Russian. I have, that is my ancestry. Well, we'll find out later in this video as I describe to you that the Ashkenazi Jews are from that region in the world. I'm not a Jew. I'm not an Israelite. I'm a Gentile that has accepted Messiah into my heart, Yahushua, to keep his commands, do his Torah and his Father's commands, and trust in him so that I may have eternal salvation. Now, Hitler explained the white person that was posing to be an Israelite as the bastard. And please forgive me, I mean not to be profane, I am describing exactly what was shown in the film. It also showed an African man of nature and facial feature, hair texture, as the true Hebrew. And it broke this down and digressed very deep. It went extremely deep. It was profound to me how much emphasis he put on explaining to his generals who the true Hebrew were. It was shocking. I encourage you to look into that. If Hitler, a psychopathic murderer, that I totally acknowledge that genocide was taking place and that Hitler tried to kill many people, especially Auschwitz, is a terrible atrocity upon humanity. But nevertheless, these people are not the true biblical Hebrews. They suffered great murderous atrocities against their people, but they're not the true biblical Hebrews. Please understand this. Moving forward from this, though, the Ashkenazi, it's very important that you understand who Ashkenazis are. They're not the real Hebrew. Matter of fact, a lot of them look like me, which I just told you. I'm not a Hebrew or a Jewish person or Israelite. I am a Gentile. I cannot reiterate that enough. In the 11th century, these people began to really take on the characteristics, try to personify themselves as if they were the true Hebrew, which it cannot be further from the truth. They speak something that's more along the lines of Yiddish. Whenever I first began working in ministry, I wanted to learn to make sure I knew how to read, write, and understand and speak Hebrew so that I'd done exactly what the Master commanded, Hebrew and Gentile, in his commands. As a person that speaks English, I found that it was very imperative very quickly that I get back to the foundation and find out exactly what the Scripture said. As I went to a foreign language academy, one of the first things that got brought up to me was that I spoke, kind of sounded Yiddish. I inquired as to what Yiddish was. I found out that it's kind of a Germanic language tone mixed with Hebrew. With my Germanic background and my own family's lineage, it made perfect sense to me, and I understood all of a sudden exactly what they were trying to say. In going to Hebrew school, this brought up an important point to me at that point, though, is why would that be the case? Because the Hebrew people should always have been the Hebrew people. Their tongue should not be something intermingled with other people. As we move forward in Genesis 10 verse 3, we find Ashkenaz. And that's actually, the people are actually explained in the Scripture, where they're from, who they are. So they're not Hebrews. And the Scripture itself attests to this. So these people are posers. At this point, whether a person wants to accept and acknowledge that or not, the written word is the written word. Neither you nor I can do anything to change that. Well, unless you're like the beast power in Rome and want to change times and laws, I guess you could probably attempt to change Scripture as well, but I'm not Babylon. I'm a servant of the true Most High, and I want to do exactly what His Word says. The true Hebrews will be regathered when Messiah returns. These people will be gathered out of all the nations abroad that they've been scattered amongst. The nation-state of Israel right now, many people refer to it as the terrorist nation-state of Israel. I refer to it as the poser state of Israel, because the people that are there, most of them do not even acknowledge Messiah, nor do they even keep the Jewish faith. They're actually nothing more than people in a land that's not their own. That's just a factual statement. Now, what I want to do now is I want to go to Deuteronomy 28. Because Deuteronomy 28, out of all the peoples and nations of the world, tongues, ethnics, and backgrounds, they define out one population of people that are more unique than any population of people up on the planet of Earth. They're the only people that meet these characteristics and therefore can be the only people that are the true Hebrews. So let us begin. And I will prove to you that it is the people that is defined as the African American that have been scattered abroad throughout the nations of the world because of the sins and transgression of breaking Master Yahweh's commands and their ancestors doing it. Leprosy is something that most people don't understand. If I got leprosy, you would never really know it. Why? Because it makes you white. Black people, it's very profound because you're black and then you become white. This is something that you can't hide, okay? Nevertheless, that's why the leprosy in the day and time of the ancient biblical Hebrews, it was so profound because it does nothing for me. For you, it's life-changing and devastating, nevertheless. As we move forward throughout the scripture in Deuteronomy 28, and I encourage you to read the entire chapter in full context and look at exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, so check this out. I went to a doctor for an examination, for my skin. I get ingrown hair whenever I shave my skin, right? And the guy looks at my name and says, Ephraim, you're Jewish. I was like, huh? I was like, hell no, I'm Nigerian. What are you talking about? And then this guy, mind you, this guy is Jewish. White guy, Jewish, a whole 9 yards. The guy looks at me and goes, you're from Nigeria? The Igbo tribe? Like, I'm taken back and I'm like, how do you know that? Yes. It's like, yes, so you are Jewish. I'm like, no, I'm Igbo. This man looks at me and says, the Igbo tribe migrated from Egypt, which before that, they migrated from Jerusalem when the Romans dispersed the Jews. So your entire bloodline is Jewish. I was like, what are you on? What you smoking? I'm out here looking at the doctor like this man is smoking something. And then I was like, okay, tell you what, I'm just gonna go with it and I'm gonna ask my mom later, right? So I called my mom. I was like, hey, Ma. So I just got out the doctor's office and this man looked me in the face. I was like, yo, you guys are all Jewish. My mom was like, yeah, you didn't know that? I was like, huh? How am I supposed to know that? Mind you, we're Christians, right? We're Igbo and all of this. And this woman is like, yeah, our entire tribe is Jewish. I was like, that doesn't even make sense. And then I started doing my own research. And turns out my name, Ephraim, is the name of an actual Jewish tribe, which is under the tribe of Joseph. Funny enough, my grandfather's name is Joseph. So I'm just mad. I'm like, yo, why didn't you guys none of you guys told me this? And I have strangers now telling me my own lineage. I didn't know what to do with this information. So now I got a whole rabbit hole I have to jump through later just to find out where all of us really came from. Like, this is crazy.
A lot of people are waking up now.
What do you think about this topic? Remember to be a Berean scholar, as it is written in the book of Acts 17 verses 11 to 12. Now the Bereans were more noble-minded than the Thessalonians, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if these teachings were true. It's time to deepen your understanding and see your reflection within the sacred pages. Please click subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay up to date with the Berean Scholar channel.